Hey, what's up, y'all? Let's go over today's puzzles. Just did these five. Okay, this is the very first one. End game puzzle. So we're white. So our goal is to promote some of these pawns, right? That's the only way to win. Otherwise, it's a draw. So right off the bat, I was thinking like, okay, if I push that doesn't really go anywhere, right? How am I gonna get a pass pawn? I guess like go here and take, and then they're probably gonna take mine. That's probably not it, right? If we trade, then I'm thinking we could get into some sort of like ending where I can like shoulder their king away. I calculated a bit about this one position. Um, Let me turn off this analysis real quick. Where it's like, this position, um, where it's like this kind of style, and then like for this particular motif, it's the last person to step in that wins. So like usually it's like you hover around. I mean, in this case, black has to come in because like otherwise they lose their pawn, right? Um, if they don't come in, like you just take it, and then you're up a pawn and you're gonna win. So they have to come in and defend, and the motif here is like you come in and defend your pawn, but like they basically have no more squares that can go to protect their own pawn. Like it's the same case for white, right? This is the only square that you can have to protect your pawn for white, and then same for black. Like you can't take this square because it's attacked. So here, because it's black's turn, they're forced to back away. Any square loses because you're not protecting the pawn anymore, and you just take. So I thought this was gonna be one of those motifs here, but I calculated some more. After takes. Um, I guess we can do that on this board, right? After takes. If I push, he could just go here and my pawn is gone. There's no way for me to like defend and also attack. I mean, even at this position, like you can tell that worst case scenario, it's best case scenario is going to be a draw. So that's not good enough for the puzzle. So knowing that, I knew I had to. I can't push. Right. So I was thinking like, okay, the best thing to do is just to attack their pawn and see what's going on from there. If I go here, they come here, and I just take their pawn, so that's over. So the only thing to do is like to think about is them pushing. So what happens if they push? That is the solution. If they push, now what changes, right? Like if you go here to attack, continue attacking their pawn, they could just come up and defend it. So that's obviously not the move. What other moves are there? Yeah, no other moves make sense. So this is the only move. What do they do? Yeah, they just move away, you win the pawn. Um, yeah, that's it for this one. That one was pretty straightforward. Once you navigate through the trades and whether or not to push. Next puzzle. This one I did not get. So just analyzing the position right off the bat, I knew that like, okay, you could do this trade and then it leads somewhere. But then I noticed that the bishop's hanging. Whenever I see something like that in one of these puzzles, I always just count the number of material to make sure like, okay, am I actually down anything? Or like, what's the deal here? So 2, 4, 6, 7. I have 7 pieces, 2 rooks. So those are matched up. Um, 2, 4, 6, 7. Same for the white side, 2 rooks. So no exchanges down. So the question is like, okay, what happens if I take? Like, is there a immediate threat? Is there like a mate or something? Are they attacking my queen? Probably push here to attack my queen, right? And then I'll have to figure out what to do there. I was thinking also if they come down with their queen to like skewer my 2 pieces, what would I do there? So I was just thinking like, oh, I could just like bring my queen over. So that looked good enough to me. So I took, and then they push. Here's where it got a little bit confusing for me. Let me think. Oh, I see why. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know where to put the queen. I was thinking like, oh, are they mating me? If I go here, they're gonna attack my queen again, so I'll have to move again from this. If I move away to like one of these squares, right? Like, are they just gonna push their pawn? And I take back and they're bring their rook over. Is there an attack there? I was worried about all these things, right? The only thing that I saw was like, okay, if I do move my queen over and they push their pawn, I can't take with the queen because they just have this pin on my queen and they win my queen for the rook. So the question was now like, where do I move my queen? This diagonal doesn't work. It doesn't really make sense to move it here. So I knew like, oh, I should protect my pieces from some. I was like fixated on this skewer. So I originally thought here to avoid queen. What was this? Queen d5. But that wasn't right. I got it wrong at that point. The problem is actually that after I analyzed this, that yeah, the knight was actually stuck. Oh, the puzzle ended here. But like, I didn't realize that the knight was trapped and needed another defender. Let me show you here. So originally I moved here, and if you play here, then yeah, you're losing the knight. I didn't notice that it was out of squares because it's not sufficiently defended. Before, at the very beginning of the puzzle, it's actually being attacked twice and only being defended once. So, oh, I see. Oh wait, no, it's being defended twice, but then the pawn blocks the defense. I didn't notice that. Yeah, so I incorrectly played here. Now it's trapped, and now you don't have an advantage, right? You lose your free piece. So the solution was to basically move it here so that you're still defending the knight once it comes back here. Yeah, like that. So I got that one wrong, kind of sad. We keep going. This is the next puzzle. We're black, so we're going this way. White's going this way. Obviously, it's a free bishop, right? And the goal here I saw, like, the only way you can lose is if this pawn promotes, right? So, obviously, free bishop, you have to take it. They push. And here's where I also got this one wrong. I was thinking if I go here, they push, I fork, I don't fork, I attack the king with check, and then they come up, and then I save the day by getting that extra tempo and getting there in time. The problem is, with that move, let me show you. When I saw the analysis, it's that the king can just come up and like say no, like no, no, no. You can continue checking, but then it just like chases, right? It can chase. I guess that doesn't work. But if you continue, like if this king like kind of shields or shoulders the knight, what is it? King d3. Like you can't stop it from the king. Basically just comes up and like pressures the knight enough to not stop it from. Oh, what? King d3. Oh, I guess now you can't. Now it has time to come up and stop this pawn. So basically, you get free king moves if you come here because yeah, it's too close. Um, so the actual move is to check him this way. Um, this way, you know, you don't even if the king comes, it doesn't attack the knight, and you're getting closer and closer to the pawn. Versus like going this way, you're actually going away from the pawn. You know, like objectively away. Even though you're like the tactic was to like check the king to get a tempo, you're still going away from the pawn. So yeah, after that navigation, it's pretty straightforward. You have no time to just promote. That was that one. This one was pretty interesting. I think this also has a pretty good motif. Um, so obviously the way to win is to promote your pawn, right? If you trade the rooks, your king is already blocking the pawn from promoting. So if we somehow manage to trade the rooks and get the king far enough from our pawn, their king far enough from our pawn, then we can promote and win the game. So the first move that came to mind was obviously this one. This is like is this interference or removing the defender, something like that. Um, they move their king, and then we take their rook. And the problem here is like if they come here, um, there's this rule that I saw Carlson share, which is basically if the king is within the square, if you draw the diagonal for your passed pawn, this is assuming that there are no other pieces in play that can interfere with the king. If you draw this square and it's your turn, right, and their king is in this square, then they can stop the pawn, assuming no other pieces are in play. So if we calculate that line, check takes, I take, the king is here, and they come in to this square, right? Then it would be my turn. Their king is right here in this red square. Then I can't promote in time, right? Here, 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 and they stop the pawn. So that doesn't work. So the other way to do this is this, where I'm checking the king. Obviously, if they go back, then they just lose their rook. So they have to come here. Um, Again, the same distraction tactic. Here, they take. If they move their king, then I just take the rook for free, right? So they have to take the rook. I take back, and now their king is right here, where they took my rook. And they go here, you know, they're not in the square. So that tactic works. So that's what the solution was. That's a pretty cool combination of motifs, I guess. Like, because there was two possibilities at the beginning. Which one could it be? And you can see like why one works and one doesn't. Okay, this is the last puzzle. Then this one was also very interesting. I got this one as well, luckily. Luckily? I don't know. I calculated. So I guess it wasn't luck. Um, Obvious move is here. To check the king. If they block, you take their rook. Um, and then they block with their knight, and kind of the show goes on. You get, is there compensation? It looks pretty drawn right now in terms of material. So here, what block, take, there, and I guess you'd be up a rook. The problem is there, here, if you check, what do they do? Just sidestep, and then you take their pawn. What do they do here? They could block, and then there's no more checks. You can't check here, can't check here. Assuming the queen's right there, right? Let me just show this. Maybe it's easier. Oh, so they played there. Oops. You check here, take here, and then, oh no, I said block. And then there's really nothing else to play for. Maybe here to go down. No, there's a knight there. And then now they have an open file to attack your king, so that actually doesn't look that good. I didn't really see that coming down. I just saw that after you take the pawn, it's kind of a dead end. Oops. The other option is, right, the perpetual, right? Is there anything to win? I guess you win their pawn here too. And then they can open another file. That's actually kind of bad. I just saw the perpetual and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think that leads anywhere. So we just realized that like the obvious queen check doesn't make sense. Now, but I saw that like, okay, if I did have my queen here, it would be nice if I had a rook lined up like this, right? It doesn't work right now because they would just take and then you would get mated like this. So, but I saw that idea of like, oh, I want my rook to be on this file when my queen comes in. If there wasn't a mate. So that would have been super nice. So I was like, okay, can I do that beforehand? Can I do that now? Because my queen is actually defending that square. So if I do that now and they trade their queens, what would it be? Like, a queen and a rook for a rook. Yeah. Wait, is that a queen and a rook for a queen and a rook for my rook? So that would obviously be a dub. So I was like, okay, I guess that's a pretty good first move. So if they move away, like where can the queen even move to? I'll just come in, right? If the queen moves away, say you move to here, now I would check. And then now I got what I wanted, which is the queen on that square. If they block now, then like this is pretty bad, right? So going here, that was the move. Now they counterattack. When they counterattack, it's always something to think about. Okay, we're attacking their queen, they're attacking my queen. Is there something, like, I don't want to lose my queen, but I want to keep attacking their queen. So is there a way for me to, like, attack something of there that's loose? Or give a check with my queen? So that, like, okay, I do this, like, I move them away, and then they have to respond to something, and then I take their queen. That's usually what I'm thinking about here, because otherwise, like, you can calculate the trade, right? If I take and then they take, and then my rook's being attacked by their knight, like, I just take their knight, I mean their rook, which, and then they take back, and then it's even material, their knight's right here. That wouldn't be anything worthwhile. So yeah, I realized that, like, oh, the rook is loose. It's not defended. The knight's also not defended, but I can't attack it in any way, and I can't give any checks that are meaningful, right? If I check here, I lose my queen. If I check here, then I lose my queen for nothing as well. I also have to stay on this diagonal. I realized too. That was like another big hint. So yeah, the correct move is to just attack their rook. That's also would check. And then here they just gave away their queen. Yeah, so that was a pretty cool puzzle. I like that one. More brain stuff. Alright, see you next time.